Hello, fam. It's your girl, Natalie, the Keto Bikini Pro. Thank you for bearing with me for those who are already on the live waiting. I just remembered I had to change those settings in YouTube so that we don't end up with riffraff in the comments. So, what is up, ladies? And maybe some gentlemen who might be on, but mostly my ladies. Are you ready for the new year? Holler at me, let me know in the comments if you are ready for 2026. Are you ready to say goodbye to 2025? Do you have goals set for 2026 yet? Are you thinking about your goals? Are you still in the weeds trying to wrap things up for the year? I am. I'll admit, I'm a little bit in the weeds, or a lot of it in the weeds, in a good way, working on things for clients, working on things for the academy. So I will never complain to have work to do, but I have had my head down and I have not been thinking a lot yet about my lofty or not so lofty goals for 2026. So tomorrow, and New Year's Day right now, I believe, unless I'm forgetting something on my calendar, is pretty chill. So I plan to use New Year's Eve and New Year's Day to begin to really think about what I want my new year to look like. What do I want 2026 to look like? The whole year, not just the new part of it, but the whole 12 months. I always take this time at the beginning of the new year. Throughout the first week, I don't expect myself to have everything figured out before New Year's Eve. Grace and grind. We're here to talk about grace and grind tonight. So having grace with myself, I usually take that first week to kind of figure things out. Looking at the 12 months ahead, at the end of the 12 months, what do I want to walk out of the year having accomplished? I reflect back on the goals I set the previous year. Where did they end up? Did I set action plans for them? Did I follow through on my intentions month after month? What did I let fall by the wayside? What do I want to pick back up? What do I want to let go of? So that's what we're here to talk about tonight. Goal setting, challenges, personal challenges, and my challenge that I want you to be a part of, the Grace and Grind Challenge 2026, our 4th annual. It's so exciting that we've been doing this for this long now. Cheers to that. All right, let me get my notes here so I don't just keep rambling on. Cool. And I'm going to actually share my screen, not just yet, but I need to find this year. I am going to share with you my Grace and Grind Challenge guide so you can actually see what is to come with this challenge. And I lost you. Where'd you go? There you are. Okay, cool. All right, so let's get this party started. All right, first let me shout out some folks who are on with me live. Diane is here, Sly is here, Deb is here. Deb, so glad you were able to make this one too. Okay, let's dive in. Oh, Celeste is here. Yay, she says Grace and Grind is the best. I do love it. I have a soft spot in my heart for this challenge. It does, in my opinion, gets the year started off in the right vibe, the right energy. It is a loving, supportive energy. It is not a go hard or go home, 75 hard, run yourself into the ground in the first 30 days of the year and then burn out and do nothing for the rest of the year. It is all about loving on yourself, setting goals that are realistic for you, actionable for you, that mean something to you, that are meaningful to you. They are not arbitrary goals that somebody else sets. It's not, I'm going carnivore because it's World Carnivore Month. It's not, whatever Andy Frisella put in his challenge. It is, what do I need right now? Where am I not showing up the way I want to show up? And what is going to move the needle for me? So let's dive into what that looks like, especially for those who might be new to Grace and Grind. Every year we change a little something, but last year I really settled on a formula I liked the best. And so we are keeping things mostly the same this year as we did last year. But I will throw in a couple of fun, new, exciting prizes, and I changed the dates. So there's a few little changes this year. So I'll kind of go through what those are. Hey, Jess, what is up? Glad to have you on. I know Jessica set and met some really exciting goals this year, including getting on stage for her first competition and winning her division. Shout out to Jessica. So what's up next, right? That's always the big question. All right, fam. So first things first, let's talk about the dates of the challenge. It is starting this Sunday, January 4th. And we will have a kickoff call. I didn't even put that in my notes, but we will have a kickoff call, a live call. It will be a Zoom call this time. I believe I did that. I think I did that last year. I may not have done that last year. I think I did this last year. I did a YouTube live video as our kickoff call. Well, this time I want to do it the way we used to do it and the way we do things inside of our academy. And I want to do that with you. I want to see your faces. I want to be on Zoom. I want you to be able to ask your questions face to face and not just in the chat. So that is a change this year. We are going to have a Zoom kickoff call Sunday, January 4th at 3 p.m. I have it earmarked on my calendar for 3 p.m. So that will be our start date, and it will run on January 4th. January 4th will be day one, and we will run from January 4th through January 31st, and that is 28 days. So, oh my gosh, I'm excited, Deb. This is your first Grace and Grind. Yes. Oh yeah, you are ready. This is quite different from our summer challenge that we do inside the academy. It's similar, but different. It's similar in the way that every time we do a challenge, it is about showing up. So it's never about perfection. It is never about checking every box. In this case, we actually have some boxes to check, but you are setting what those are. And it's more about showing up and then telling us how you did. You may not nail it every single day. And that's what I loved the most about how we kind of refined our criteria for what a check-in looks like last year. So let's dive in here. Boop, boop, boop. Grace and Grind is a different kind of challenge. It is an opportunity to develop awareness, become consistent with what matters to you, and optimize your health and your life. So I have a pet peeve, something that I hear in the space a lot, and that is the term grace, having grace for yourself. I do not like hearing grace being used as an excuse to let yourself off the hook for things you said you were going to do. You wouldn't leave your child at school because you're too busy to pick them up and then never show up to pick up your child and then say, oh, I'm just having grace for myself for not picking up my child. It'll be okay. No, your child is still stuck at the school with nobody to pick them up. That's irresponsible. And we need to be accountable to ourselves for the things, the responsibilities that we put in place. So think of grace and grind as tough love. It is love, it's wrapped in love, but we're also being tough on ourselves because there are things we need to do if we want to live the lives we want to live, if we want to be in the health status that we want to have, if we want to live in the bodies we want to live in, if we want to show up the way we want to show up to achieve things in life, to accomplish things in life. It might be financial goals, it might be relationship goals. It doesn't even just have to be about your physique. And that's the other thing I love about this challenge. Your goals and the things that you focus on are truly driven by what matters to you the most. And there is a ripple effect into every other area of your life when you're showing up the way you want to. So we're not going to use grace as an excuse to let ourselves off the hook. We're going to start showing up and taking action toward our goals, particularly the goals that matter the most in terms of getting you to where you want to be. So we don't want to burn out, go too hard, bite off more than we can chew, and set a million goals or set these really, really high goals that are, if we really thought about it, are way outside of our comfort zone, way outside of anything realistic that we could actually accomplish. But the way a lot of people go into January is they feel so down on themselves about how they didn't show up during the holiday season or throughout the year. Look back and say, man, I really dropped the ball on XYZ. Well, now I've got to kick it into overdrive and go extra hard and do all the things. And then I'll be able to make up for it. You cannot do all the things in 28 days, the first month of the year, and make up for 11 months of slacking. It doesn't work that way. So this is all about taking those steps that are going to get the ball rolling and are going to really move the needle for you in the quickest, shortest period of time. Not about making massive transformations in 4 weeks, because y'all, I'll just tell you, that's not reality. Nobody's making insane transformations in 4 weeks. If it looks like they did, it's from the work that they put in the 4 years prior to those 4 weeks. And all the ladies in the comments can probably attest to that, because I have seen a lot of their transformations and how long that took. And it ain't quick. But we can make major, major moves in the right direction within 4 weeks. And that's what this challenge is all about. What is up, Liz? It's great to have you on with us. Okay, so who's ready to show up? Show up like never before. Real, transparent, fall on your sword, fall down, get back up, dust yourself off, and keep going. That's what Grace and Grind is all about. So here's what is not included in this challenge. We are not following a workout program. If you're inside the academy, you do have a workout program. And I'll talk about, for those of you who are not members of the academy, we always do a special promo during the Grace and Grind Challenge. So if you are not a member and you would like to join at a special rate, we will have that opportunity for you. If you do want to step it up and add on training program, macros, nutrition, coaching, the whole 9 yards, then you can absolutely do that. And we will continue to support you in that as well. So all of our members are free to join this challenge as well. They are also participating for the prizes, but the training program, workout program, diet plan, macros is not a part of Grace and Grind. It is in the academy, but not in Grace and Grind. So we're not going to be prescribing you a list of things to do, like 75 hard, check all of these things that we tell you to do. We're not going to be prescribing you a diet. We're not going to be prescribing you workouts. This is about you choosing 4 things. One thing in 4 areas of life that I believe are the 4 foundational tenets of wellness And that is fitness, nutrition, mindset, and self-care. So we'll walk through those in just a moment. Let's see. The biggest thing to remember about this challenge as you go is the checking in part. Showing up. It is a daily check-in. This takes checking in to a whole new level. This takes accountability to a whole new level. There is a acronym that we use here in Grace and Grind. It is called OAR. It's about picking up your oar and paddling your boat. OAR. O is for ownership, taking ownership over your goals, over the goals that you set for Grace and Grind in the 4 areas. We're going to talk about how to do that in a moment. A is for action. You've set the goal. You're taking ownership. Now it's time to act. Put your one foot in front of the other and move. And then R is for responsibility. It is your personal responsibility. And what is responsibility? It is the ability to respond. It is response ability. Your ability to respond to what you set out to do. So pick up your oar, get ready to row. Here's how it works. There is a daily checklist. Like I said, 4 areas of wellness: fitness, nutrition, mindset, and self-care. You are going to personally pick one habit to focus on for 28 days in each of these areas. So you will have 4 daily habits. You're going to have something specific that you're going to focus on for your fitness daily. 1 for nutrition daily, 1 for mindset daily, and 1 for self-care, which, ladies, this is the one out of all of them that actually most of the ladies tend to struggle with. Why? Because women, especially you moms out there, tend to put yourselves last. You get to the end of the day and you realize, I did nothing for me today. Now, I would say if you cross off the fitness, the nutrition, and the mindset, you've already done 3 things for you today. But did I do anything to show myself love today and care? So, let's talk a little bit about setting your daily habits. All right, what I recommend doing here is identify the one thing in each category that would make the biggest difference and really move the needle for you. Focus on the low-hanging fruit. So ask yourself, in the area of fitness, how am I doing? What have I been doing? What have I not been doing? And what could I do better? Maybe my goal, I'll tell you what mine is right now because I just started my prep. And cardio is always the most challenging thing for me. But it is the thing that I truly believe, and I know now from experience, always benefits my health and my wellness and my well-being when I start doing it consistently. Getting started with it is always the hardest part. But when I start adding in a daily walk or a particular type of additional activity, structured cardio for me, something structured that I commit to and I consistently do day after day, and that improves my overall activity in the day, everything gets better. So for me, my fitness goal will be daily cardio. Now from here, you can make this more specific to really hold your feet to the fire even more. Hey, Mary, so glad you're able to join. Glad you're on for this. We're talking about how to set your goals. This is a great time for you. How to set your one habit to focus on in each of our 4 areas. So for fitness, for me, it's cardio. Now you can be a little more open-ended with this and say daily cardio. My goal is that I will do daily cardio. I recommend that you at least set some parameters. You can make it a little more open-ended, or you can make it extremely specific, but we want to be at least a little bit specific. Bring in the SMART goals. If you remember the SMART goals, the S meaning specific. Being specific helps, and the whole point of everything that we're doing here with these habits is, why are we doing daily habits? Why are we doing daily check-ins? Because what happens when we are not putting our goals front of mind every single day is, I see it all the time in check-ins, it comes to the end of the week. If you do have a coach or a community where you're checking in, you come into your check-in and you say, oh, I didn't get my 4 workouts in this week. I didn't meal prep this week, so I didn't hit my macros this week. Everything comes up and it's, well, it clearly wasn't front of mind. If you wake up in the morning and the very first thing you do is check your 4 things and you say, how can I get these things done as soon as possible in this day, priority in this day, or where do I have this on my calendar? If it's not on your calendar, I guarantee you it's not getting done. So be specific, because being specific helps you not let it fall by the wayside and then show up at the end of the day saying, oh, shoot, I didn't do my cardio. It's midnight. I'm about to go to bed. I'm just going to run in circles for a minute in my bedroom. Boom, I did my cardio. Not exactly, right? That is actually letting yourself off the hook. That's forgetting all day and then throwing something in there to say you did it. This challenge, and this is how this challenge is different. It is not about, we're not going to reward and give prizes for the people who checked off the most things. We're giving prizes for the people who are showing up honestly every single day. So, and we'll get to how do you win the prizes in a moment. But what I would rather see is, my goal is a minimum of 10 minutes of cardio per day, every day. It can be at any time of the day, but it needs to be structured cardio. And I don't get to let myself off the hook by doing a bunch of steps or flailing my arms around so that my watch picks it up as movement and count that as cardio, right? We actually want to create more criteria. So as you're setting your goals, I do want it to be at least somewhat specific. Now I am putting numbers around my cardio because that is a part of my prep. So for me, I'll be 20 minutes minimum per day, whatever I need to do to make that happen. Maybe and a lot of the time it's 10 minutes warm up for my training, if I'm training that day, or it may be a 10-minute walk in the morning and a 10-minute walk in the evening. I'm not requiring myself. I'm not pigeonholing myself so much that I'm saying it has to be 30 minutes and it has to be at this time of day. You can do that if that is a part of the next step for you, right? This is where it really becomes all about what's really going to move things forward for you. So I want you to really be critical about the goals that you select, the habits that you choose. How is this going to move the needle for me? If it's not, then it's not a good choice. I could choose, here's an example, for nutrition. I could say, I'm not going to eat dairy for 28 days. But for those of you who know me, you know, I haven't eaten dairy for like 15 years. So not eating dairy for 28 days is not a challenge for me. That is me phoning it in, picking something I'm already doing so that I can check off a box easily. This is a challenge, and this is where the grind part comes in. Grace and grind. The grind part is, I have some things that I want to do in my life, and I'm not accomplishing those things. What can I do that is challenging to me that will actually require me to think different, move different, make a plan in advance, get ahead of it, set things up a certain way that I'm not used to, things that are going to challenge me, right? So it needs to be a challenge for you, and it needs to be something that's meaningful in your journey and will actually move the needle for your goals. So I just gave you a couple examples in fitness and nutrition. The two everybody struggles with is the mindset and the self-care. Now, one of the ways that I describe mindset is personal development. This can be things that, think about mindset as anything that feeds your mind, right? We feed our bodies with nutrition. How are you feeding your mind? So for mindset, maybe it is a consistent meditation practice. Maybe it is a podcast that you want to listen to regularly. Or it could just be listen to a podcast daily, and you don't have to specify which one, but daily I am going to listen to a podcast or watch a YouTube video or watch some of Coach Nat's content, whatever it might be that is going to feed my mind and help me get into the right headspace for my day. I already have a morning practice with a particular morning affirmation that I listen to. Lately, I've been really into the Hallow app. So I've been listening to daily scriptures or devotionals and things of that nature. Some of these things blur the lines with self-care and self-love, because my morning meditation time, I would absolutely put in the self-care, self-love space there. My personal development, my mindset stuff is more of the personal development stuff. That's like I'm learning something. So that morning routine, the morning routine things that I do, my breath work, those are all much more self-love. But some of them could also be in the mindset space. The key here is you make a distinction for you. And one of the distinctions I like, or one of the criteria that I like to offer for making that distinction, is self-love or self-care is about what brings me joy, what brings me peace. What is the thing that helps calm my stress? If it adds stress to your life, it is not self-care. Think about it like that. So the mindset and personal development stuff is more of the, I'm learning something, I'm expanding my mind, meditation or some sort of practice, like a breathwork practice could be a good mindset practice. It may feel stressful to you to do it. It may be, extremely challenging or difficult for you to do it. Self-care and self-love is more, I did something that brought me joy today. And that's the way I like to look at that one. Self-care and self-love is one of those that's a little bit more difficult to pick something specific that you're going to do every single day. It may not necessarily always be the same thing. So this is where I encourage brainstorming a list. Maybe you have a list of things that you could say, okay, this is the particular self-care habit that I want to institute into my life. And maybe I have 3 things on that list that some might fit better into certain days than other. I love to stretch, to do a deep stretch. I don't always do a deep stretch physically after my training sessions. A lot of the time after a training session, I don't have the time to incorporate a nice deep stretch. So a self-care, self-love thing might be at night, before I get into my bed, I'm going to do a nice deep stretch. Or sauna. Sauna is another thing for me that comes up that will likely go on my list. And that might be something where I say, at minimum, I'm going to do a sauna session once a week. I wouldn't expect myself to do that every night. It's unrealistic for me. So I might have a different, I might have a top 3 self-care practices, unless you can come up with something that for you is absolutely something you want to make a non-negotiable every single day, and it's the same exact thing every day, I love that as well. Those tend to be the ones that are the most powerful for a challenge like this because you don't have wiggle room to try to get out of it and make excuses. It is a specific commitment. I will likely do that with my prayer because I worked really hard throughout Advent season, enhancing my prayer life and committing to a more structured prayer time. And that is something that I want to continue, and I don't want it to fall by the wayside when I have these other habits in place. So as I mentioned, for example, the dairy thing with nutrition, that would not be a challenge for me because I've done it for 15 years easily. It's not something that's challenging. But my prayer life is something that is more often on. Like I said, I've been good about it over the last month, 6 weeks or so, but it's still a new, fresh habit. And I know that if I start setting these other habits in place, it's something that could fall off. So it can be something that you have already started doing, but maybe you're not super consistent with it and you want to get more consistent with it. That's a great choice for one of your habits. Mary says, I'm reading a book about thriving with ADHD. Okay, I love reading a book for the mindset personal development piece. And for some of you ladies love novels. If you love reading a novel, the novel might be a self-care, self-love piece. That might be your habit for self-love. Where a book that's teaching you something, a book to learn something might be a part of your mindset and personal development. I do have a book recommendation, actually, that I will drop in the Facebook group for the challenge for anybody else who may want to read this book. And this just might be my mindset and personal development habit. It is called I'm going to totally butcher it again. I better find it so I don't say it wrong. It's the Ruthless something of hurry. Let's see. I put it on my Amazon list, I believe. Let's see if it's here. Did I put it on here? Yes. It is called The Ruthless Elimination of Hurry. How to stay emotionally healthy and spiritually alive in the chaos. I can't see the rest of the title, but that's what it looks like. So I will drop that in the group for anybody else who's interested. But yes, I love reading a book or a course. Maybe there's a course you wanted to take. You've been wanting to take on something. A lot of you ladies are interested in nutrition and training certifications. So if there is a particular professional certification or in your field, in your profession, like I said, this challenge is not just about health and fitness. So maybe there's some professional development you would like to do. You can do that as your mindset, personal development item. So think about the things you're considering. We have a few days. We have how many days before we actually get started? As of today, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days, 4 days, 5 days until Sunday. So on Sunday, your first order of business, your first check-in on Sunday will be letting us know what you decided for your 4 habits. And with that being said, let's dive into the participation. How do you participate? And here's where I will share my screen. Share screen. Oh, there it is. Okay, so there's that. How do I get that to show up on my screen? Where is it? Oh, hang on. I think I've got to do something here to get this somewhere where I can share it. Womp, womp, womp. Let's see if this works. Just drop that in there. For some reason, it is not letting me pull up a PDF. Maybe if I open it here. Okay, I think that'll work. It's a workaround, but I think it'll work. Oh, hang on. I think I found it. I think I found the proper. Let's see if this works. Fingers crossed. Yes. Okay, let's add that to the stage. Woohoo! Look at me learning new technology on the spot. Okay, so here's our 2026 Grace and Grind Challenge guide. The first thing I should mention is that this entire challenge is being hosted inside our Keto Bikini Secrets Facebook group. So that is where you'll do your check-ins. That is where I'll be dropping the guide. That's where I will personally be checking in every single day with you. This is a time where I really dive into. So I'll be sharing all about what's going on with me throughout the month. So we will be doing everything inside the Facebook group. This guide will be posted there on Sunday. Maybe even before Sunday. I've got it mostly updated. I just want to add a few more things. So first off, this image, how cool is this image? This was a mural wall. This was a street art wall in Mexico when I did my show last year. And I just think that this street art, this piece of art just depicts grace and grind so well. It's like the grace of the woman and then this badass tiger cheetah. Yeah, so that was kind of fun. Talk about grace and grind. All right, so here we go. I am going to be dropping these links that are shown here that I shared last year. And these are to help you review your year, think about what you want for the upcoming year, and boil that down into your most important areas or goals or habits to help you select your habits. You can choose to use these as resources to help you do all of that. Or if you're a person who's like, hey, I know exactly what my habits are, you can skip all this and dive right in. But these resources will be available to you. It is last year's kickoff vision workshop for Grace and Grind. I went over our Big Why and Big Why Not exercises, which are our 1-year vision exercises, imagining where we will be a year from now if we show up the way we want to versus if we do not. I walked through the start, stop, and continue process of considering what you want to bring into the new year, what you want to let go of, what you want to continue doing. And I walked through creating goals for the year. So those will be linked here in the guide, and I will also be sharing that video for you to review in advance of Sunday. Last year, I even created a workbook that goes along with those exercises that I talked about in those videos. So I'll drop both of those for y'all. Now, here's the commitments. This is where you make your decision and you're going to write down one of each area. This is a digital guide, by the way. It'll be a PDF, so you can print it out if you'd like to. Or you can use your own journal to make note of these things. And then we just ask that you share with us. That is step 1, day 1. What are your 4 commitments? Now, how you're going to do your check-ins. This is where you will be posting inside the Facebook group. This is how you do your daily check-in. You are going to put what day of the challenge you are on. This is very important. I kept losing track of folks last year. I keep a detailed spreadsheet of who's checking in and what day they're on. So please, please, please do not forget. Every time you check in, I want you to say, I'm on day blah, 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 because some folks get started a little bit late and they might be on a different day. So it can be tricky for me to figure out what day everybody's on. So just always put what day of the challenge you're on. Can be helpful to keep your own little calendar so you can be keeping up with how many, I'm on day 5, I'm on day 7. Once we get to day 18, it's going to be, oh, is it 17 or 18? It can kind of blur together. So keep track of that. You're going to post. You can post on the day of if you want to do that, like the last thing that night, or you can post the next day. That's totally fine. It doesn't have to be the day of. I even give a little bit of a grace period. If you miss one day and then you have to come back the next day and check in for 2 days at one time, I usually give a little grace for that. But if you miss 5 days and now you're checking in for 5 days, sorry, we're not going to track. We're not going to check off that box that you checked in every single day of the challenge. Okay, so that's the key there. So you're going to do your check-in, and basically what you're going to tell us is you're going to give yourself a rating, 1 out of 3. Crushed it, got it done, or didn't do it. This is where that showing up, even when it ain't pretty, comes in. This is the grind. It's part of the grind. Is saying, hey, I didn't do it today. Ooh, that's hard. But you know what? When you feel that sting of having to admit that you didn't do it, having to fall on your sword, you're 9 times out of 10 much more likely to do it tomorrow. So, crushed it, got it done by the skin of my teeth, or didn't do it. So here's some samples what your check-in might look like. You're going to put G&G check-in day 1 or G&G 1, make it simple. You could keep it very simple and just let us know what happened. Fitness, 1, I crushed it. Nutrition is a 1, I crushed it. Personal development, I got it done. Self-care, I didn't do it. Now, I prefer you do a little more than this, but this will count for the prizes. Just checking in and telling us something. This is the kind of post for the day that you're either not going to post anything at all, you're not going to check in and show up, or you're going to do the least. This is what you do on the days that you barely have it. Still show up and just at least tell us yes, no for each thing. Now, here's another example with a little more color. Check-in day 1, I got my morning movement in at 8 a.m. with a treadmill walk and a stretch. Nutrition, I nailed my macros within 5 grams and stuck to my cut. Personal development, I read a chapter of my course, but I didn't complete the module quiz. Self-care, I put myself on the back burner today and I didn't do anything for me. Tomorrow, here's my plan. I like more detail whenever you can. So, but it will count either way, okay? Now, the last page of your guide has some helpful mindset masterclasses. Some of these you can use for your mindset habit if you would like, or just to get you in the headspace of the challenge and just to help keep you moving forward through the challenge. I'm sure that there are more now for me to add to this list. So I'm going to go through it. This is one of the big things I'm going to edit and update before I post this in the group, because I know there are a lot more mindset masterclasses that I've done since then. So you'll see a longer list here. And then I will also link this video in the guide as well for anyone who's not on live and wants to refer back to just the basic details of the challenge. So that's the little walkthrough there of what to expect and how it all works. Let me go back to my notes. What happened to them? There we go. Okay. So that is how you participate. It's that simple. You show up in the group and you tell us what's going on, basically. The coolest thing, though, my favorite part of this challenge is all of the insights you get along the way. This is one of my favorite things inside the Academy with our check-ins as well, is reading the insights. I want you to go into this first month of the new year with intention and paying more attention, paying attention to yourself, your body. What is your body telling you? What do you need for your self-care? The lessons learned along the way, all the little aha moments are what make this really worth it in the end. So if you have aha moments, if you're noticing things, making observations along your journey, share those things in the group. And my other favorite thing is just how active the group gets and how exciting and fun it is to see what everybody's up to. Oh, what did they choose? You're going to get some great ideas for habits you can incorporate. The one thing I will warn you about is that you might get excited reading what other people are doing and want to add to your list. Do not add to the number of things that you are checking in about. If you have additional space and time to do some things that you see that you want to add into your life, absolutely, by all means. You do not have to wait until the challenge is over to do that. But do not muddy the waters and then add to your expectations and end up overwhelming and stressing yourself out. It's not worth it. Okay. Stick to your 4 and then write down ideas as they come up and things that you want to look into, and take action as an extra. All right. No FOMO. Okay. So all you have to do to participate and be eligible for the prizes is make sure you've joined the Facebook group if you're not yet in there. If you would like additional above and beyond, if you want training and nutrition and coaching and Zoom calls and all the things that we do inside the Academy, we are going to discount our 1-month membership, which is regularly $150 month to month, and you sign up for an ongoing auto pay month to month for $150. We are going to discount that down to our 6-month membership rate, which is $100 a month. And we're going to make it a one-time purchase. So you will not be charged again automatically at the end of the challenge. If you decide that you want to join the Academy for 1 month and give it a try, you can join for the Grace and Grind special, which will be that $99 price tag for a 1-month commitment. And then you can decide from there if you want to continue with us and join for a longer membership or month to month or what have you. Or perhaps you will win one of our prizes and actually get a free membership or a heavily discounted membership. So let's talk about the prizes. All right. Let's see. Join the Facebook group. Check in daily for 28 days. Every 7 days that you check in consistently, you will be entered into that week's drawing for prizes. So we will be doing weekly prizes, and then we will have final prizes at the end. To be eligible for the prizes, you have to check in every single day of the challenge. So for our weekly prize offerings, options, I am going to throw in all my favorites, supplements, all kinds of things. So I'm still brainstorming the full list, but definitely KBB and KBA merchandise with the Keto Bikini Shop, anything you'd like from there. Purely Tallow skincare has been on the list for the last year or two, and that is one of my current favorite things. Lots of y'all chose those last year. Electrolytes, lots and lots of electrolyte companies that I love, that I enjoy, will be on that list. Of course, as always, Equip Foods Supplements. Perfect Keto, I'll throw in there this year. Keto Brains, Keto Chow, Porking Good, Carnivore Snacks. And those are just a few off the top of my head. I'm brainstorming many, many more. So lots of prize options for our weekly prizes. That will be a lot of fun. And then the final at the end, you had to have checked in 28 total days to be eligible for the final prizes. Now, this year I am switching things up and doing something a little bit different. In the past, I have given one grand prize winner a prize, and then a handful of runners-up. Instead of doing that this year, everything will be based on drawing. So if you check in all 28 days, you are in the drawing for any number of our final prizes at the end. And that is, you could win a 1-month free Academy membership. You could win a free consultation call with myself or Coach Mary Grace. You could win 1 month off of an Academy membership package of your choice, or 1 month off of a private coaching package of your choice. So lots of final prizes up for grabs. I don't know how many we are going to select just yet. We might do one of each of those prizes, which would be 5 if we do one of each, or we may do a certain combination of them. So you never know. And that's what I love. Another thing I love about this challenge. It's not a compete against everyone to get the one prize, that one person. I see a lot of these challenges out there where there's this huge grand prize that one person gets, and all of these people are putting in all of this effort over all of this time, and they're going to get incredible results, because once again, if you're showing up this way, the real prize is the changes in your life, in the areas that you are seeking to change. So you are all walking away with a massive prize for showing up for yourselves. You might find incredible healing. You might find body transformation. You might find new financial abundance. You might find a better relationship with your spouse. There's no end to the prizes you're going to walk away with, right? But I don't like those challenges when it's all or nothing for one person at the end. I like, you all show up, you all did the work, you're all just as worthy of winning, and I don't just want there to be one winner. So I'm excited to do that this year. And then another thing, I have not settled on it yet, but I am changing things with my lives in the new year. I'm no longer going to be doing weekly live streams on YouTube. Throughout the Grace and Grind Challenge, I would like to do some live streams inside the Facebook group, or I may turn them into Zoom calls. So that is one thing I'm finalizing, and once I decide on that, I will let you all know inside the Facebook group. But our YouTube live streams will become monthly Q&As. So those are going to definitely pull back. And I may actually pull those off of YouTube and do them entirely in the Facebook group. So more to come on that when I make those decisions. But I want to support you all through this challenge. And I really want it to be, I always love really getting to know you all so much better in the Facebook group on things that we don't otherwise get to chat about. So it's a beautiful time to connect with the ladies in the group. We have over 1,000, we have 1,200 plus members in the group now. So tell your friends that are in the group, talk it up, invite friends to join you in the group, and let's have some fun together while we reach our goals. All right, that's about all I have tonight. Does anybody have any questions about the challenge that you want to ask here live? And you can always ask questions. You can drop questions in the comments after the live, and this will stay up on YouTube, so you can drop questions there. Best place to ask questions is inside the Facebook group. So dive into the Facebook group. If you have questions coming out of this video, you're unsure about how to set your goals or which habits to select or how it all works, let me know. You can tag me in the Facebook group or just post. I should get a notification about it. All right. I love it. Sly says, I have done my homework. Excited to start. Woohoo! And Diane says, so excited for this year's Grace and Grind Challenge. She was one of my big time champions last year. So y'all get ready to show up for yourselves and set the tone. That's what this is doing. Setting the tone for a successful year. Love y'all. See you inside the Facebook group. Happy New Year.